In this series of videos from a podcast we recorded on June 6th, we take a look at 12 iconic movie scenes from the 1980s, where we discuss things like pop cultural impact, instant recognizability, even how it got parodied in other movies and media. At the end of the podcast, we try to figure out which scene was the most iconic out of the 12. For the list of rules we followed in deciding which scenes to use, please look in the description. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. All right, so our next one, um, probably out of all the movies, if I can do the years correctly, might be the oldest one because I think it came out in 1980. So
Jeez.
I don't think anything else. Oh, but it's a scene you will know.
Oh,
Empire
holy
Strikes
shit.
Back, the "I am your
Yeah.
father" scene. You know,
God,
and
I
I,
thought, Chad, I thought we were not going to talk about Star Wars today. I
well,
was really excited.
I know, and yeah, I know we got a Star Wars talk coming up,
We sure do.
but this, because this was 1980, so, but obviously, any Star Wars fan, this scene, original trilogy fan, obviously,
Hmm.
um, where Luke finds out Darth Vader is his father. Um, totally iconic for the movie. And again, another scene that gets parodied. The one, it's a cultural phenomenon in
Hmm.
different ways and stuff like that. But they just had not just even what led up before the announcement. A big battle, lightsaber battle between the two of them. Luke loses his hand. All is even before he announces it, all is looking lost and bleak for Luke because he's climbing out in the middle of nowhere. He's got nowhere to go. He
Hmm.
barely knows how to use the Force at this time. He knows a little bit, so it's not like we see nowadays he can float away. And then you're so filled with dread because you think Luke's going to lose and
He can
something
float
bad's
away.
and then they hit you with this line, and it's
Yeah.
almost like it just came out of left field because you weren't expecting that line here. You're like, how's Luke going to get out? Who's going to save him? And they obviously
Are you
the
trying
emotion.
not to spoil this line? Is that what you're
Oh
actively
no,
trying
I
to
know
do?
you. I thought I said it. I am your
Okay,
father.
okay, okay.
I
Okay.
I don't even think I need. No, no, I'm not trying to say it. I honestly thought I said it. I'm sorry. Anyone who knows it, knows Star Wars, knows I am your father. Um,
I'm
but
sorry,
yes, to me,
guys.
no, yes. Spoiler alert from a
It's not the
movie from
usual
44
suspects,
years
you know what I
ago.
mean? Usual suspects is a little bit different, but this is like pop culture, like you were saying.
Yeah, everyone, I mean, but like I said, I was just trying everything that led up to it too, though. It wasn't just like
Hmm.
that line, him announcing it, the fight and everything, and then obviously Luke drops and somehow grabs on. But to me, this is just not just one of the biggest moments in Star Wars, one of the biggest scenes ever, most iconic. Um, yeah, I mean, this hit us like a ton of bricks. So I don't know what you thought of it when you first saw it, but go ahead. What do you got?
Well, this is one of my first, like, aside from Back to the Future, this was like one of my first situations where I dealt with, because this happens towards the end,
Correct.
and like it was at the age that I was, I had to learn that things can be open ended and they're not like resolved. Because then Luke gets his hand chopped off. Sorry, everybody. Um, Luke also dies from being tired in the future. Just spoiler alert. Um,
Han's in
but
Carbonite right before this too. So like not just what happened to Luke,
it
but
just
remember,
it
yeah,
just ends like I mean, yeah, Luke gets like rescued and everything, and that's a great shot and everything. But this scene led up to like, and then it ends, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to see Return of the Jedi because I have no concept of that as a younger kid. And so this huge revelation gets dropped on me, and I have to unpack it as a child, and then I don't get to resolve that for like a long time, and that was huge. Um, this whole entire thing, it just kind of taught me that the good guys can lose, and they can lose like in the big picture, and like things can be vague. I think that's why I think that Empire Strikes Back is such a great movie, is because like things don't like tie up. Like things end and there are resolutions, but things are kind of messy at the end of it.
mm-hmm.
And it's done, again, Han is like in question, like what's going to happen with him, and everything that's going on. And I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. So this, and it's, as a twist goes, for it to be like, every story has a twist, but this is a pop culture iconic twist, and it changed the rest of it. And I think that's why kind of Return of the Jedi is a little bit weaker as a movie, in my opinion, because you kind of like, the big reveal happened, and nothing really happens to Return of the Jedi except a bunch of really boring ass fights that go back and forth. So, This was great. When it hit me as a kid, I was like fucking stunned, and yeah, and I was, man, so looking forward to seeing what a backstory could look like with Anakin Skywalker, because
Yeah.
it had been built up so well, and I was like, there's no way that anybody could mess up uh, filming the backstory to this great iconic character. I mean, how could you do it? Everything's been laid out so perfectly. So, and I'm just so happy that the prequels were able to honor that.
All right, should we move on? Because I don't want us to get into the prequel talk, but in all honesty, yes. I mean, again, we've covered it all. I mean,
Yeah.
even people who are non-Star Wars fans know I Am Your Father. They know it was the big moment, and
Yeah.
it's lasted years afterwards. But yeah, definitely iconic scene. Like you said, this whole movie just ended on a down note,
Oh,
because
it's awesome.
especially you didn't know what was going to happen, and I think that's the first time, like, oh, we got to see the next one. When's the next one coming out? When can I go rent it? Blah blah blah. But yeah, it was just such a powerful moment, and one in I don't want to say the wrong way, just it wasn't like a happy, powerful moment. It just everything hit you. It was a gut punch for us as kids.
Yeah.
Everything was just like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Ghostbusters. Now, I
Yeah.
will admit there was two. Before we get into the Stay Puft Marshmallow scene and basically the end of Ghostbusters, there was a second scene, and it was the Slimer thing where Bill Murray goes, "I've been slimed," and I'm like, that was a fun scene, but to me, this was a little bit more iconic than that one. So I that's why I went with this. I was just saying there was a second one to Ghostbusters, but
There's a lot of iconic scenes in this movie in general.
it is, and a lot of iconic lines. But I just think
Hmm.
the Stay Puft Marshmallow, why this one to me, out of everything in the original Ghostbusters, is iconic, is because they're going into the final battle. We're just like, all right, shit's going down. We're ready, and then they're like, clear your minds, and you don't know what's coming. And out of every fucking I know that'll become a joke and a meme at some points, but at the time you're just like, what? He's like, I just remember camping the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and you see this
It's the
big,
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Just Dan Aykroyd's delivery is like, yeah,
and you
what did
just
you
see
do?
this, you're like, something that's supposed to be like pure evil, and then you're just seeing a marshmallow, and yeah, obviously they gotta fight it, and it's just that's what made Ghostbusters so great, because they're like, listen, we're gonna be campy, we're gonna be silly, but we're gonna own it, and it's just fucking great.
It's like we
The
gotta cross
reveal
the
was just
streams. It's like you said,
hilarious.
crossing the streams was bad.
Yeah,
Okay, I love this plan. Let's do it. I love this plan. Absolutely, let's do it. I mean, Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray, and I will always love Bill Murray. And it's like this mixture, like him just being like that. Again, I have so many bad influences of growing up as far as characters that molded who I am. Bill Murray is one of them, along with like Han Solo and Harrison Ford's portrayal. It's just like sarcastic asshole
Mhm.
who just has to throw quips out for everything and just be like the asshole of the fucking group. And that was Bill Murray for me. And it's like this whole entire thing was fucking great. I mean, Bill Murray's not even a scientist, really. I mean, I think he is a scientist in the movie, but we could talk about Ghostbusters in a different podcast. But the concept of Bill Murray in this movie is absolutely absurd if you like rewatch it. I don't understand how he has a job.
Well, no, because I remember, again, I know we're getting away from the scene, that original test, he was like, kind of like electrocuting their brain, trying to mind read, the cards. And there was the beautiful young lady, and then
Oh, of course.
she's just getting it wrong every time. He's like, "Oh man, you're," and then there's like a time or two. The other guy actually got it correct. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, I don't know how Bill Murray's a scientist, but to go back to the end of the scene, it was just a good ending to what this film was all about. Absurdness, yes, fun as a way, but the whole end and Gorza and stuff like that, and those dogs started getting scary. Again, I'm going as a kid. That shit was a little bit scarier for this
Good
film.
special effects.
Yeah,
Good special effects at the time. Very
but
good.
the whole thing was kind of campy, and then they kind of took this little dark turn, and then you're like, whoa, okay, because that's what made that, again, that final battle that you thought was going to happen. You're like, all right, this is some serious shit right now. Dogs, friends with cats, blah, blah, blah. But then, again, you see the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And as much as like, this is supposed to be, you just could not help but laugh. Everything was just funny. His facial, and the fact that when they finally kill, it just marshmallow everywhere. I was going to say white goo everywhere. I censor that, people.
Oh.
But
I wanted to eat it, not the white goo
I
like
know what
you
you meant, but yes,
insinuated, but
it was just like you
I
wanted
was
to make
like, I want to
s'more.
be covered in marshmallows. Like, when I saw, I know it was like shaving cream, I guess is what they used, but
Probably, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, what an amazing thing it would be to have to eat all that marshmallow. It'd be so good. Because as a kid, it's all you care about is fucking candy.
Hmm.
And it was a great way to end it. Just the whole thing, crossing the streams, awesome. And this thing was actually kind of terrifying.
I don't
I don't
know.
know, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like it had some angry faces there. So
It did have some angry faces, but again, out of everything that you expected to come down there, it's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Oh,
that's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Yeah, it's
but
fucking great.
definitely, and a kind of iconic movie, but definitely an iconic scene. Are looking at the Karate Kid.
Oh
And
God,
obviously, you know, it's the when the a culmination of the wax
we
on,
haven't
wax
talked
off,
about
stand the
this.
force. Everything that he's been doing turns out to be a defensive move. And again,
Yes,
another scene that kind of gets referenced here and there. You know, you just hear wax on, wax off, and you think Mr.
hmm
Miyagi, obviously.
of
But
course.
again, you know, it is funny to look back. But when you first see the scene and Daniel all of a sudden is defending everything that Miyagi's throwing at him, you're like, "Holy shit!" You kind of understand it. You're like, if you're remembering when you watch this for the first time, you know, because you're like,
hmm
why is he doing all these chores again? Because we did not know, and then he does all this thing, and you're just like, "Oh shit!" So,
Oh, it's great. He throws a tantrum too. And that's when Miyagi is just like, okay, bitch, bitchy Daniel son. Like I'm gonna show you exactly why the fuck you've been doing this, like,
yep,
and all that shit. So, and it works out so great. Again, Daniel was such a bitch in this movie.
he was.
Um, that it's insane. But the movie itself is good. Obviously, we've talked about other movies in this series, but yeah, this is an iconic scene. Loved it. Um, I don't know. I mean, when I think about Karate Kid, I think you agree. I like the tea ceremony a little bit more than the second one, but that's just me.
Yeah, but
Uh,
we're going with
but
iconic
from
scenes.
everybody,
Iconic
pop
scenes.
culture
Yes.
wise, yes, wax on, wax off is part of people talk about that, make that joke all the time. Um, and again, when I saw it, it was great. It was a great reveal, so super impactful. And yeah, this scene started an entire franchise of which we're still watching today. So,
Yes, and spoiler alert, in a couple weeks, the review of Next Karate Kid's coming out. So, yeah, that
oh
should be
man,
great.
that was a good one. That was a
Yeah.
good movie.
But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely iconic moment in this series. Thank you for watching this video, and let us know in the comments what you thought of these iconic scenes. And if you like what you heard, please visit our channel for more podcasts and videos.